Hey everybody, video for you. Something I was watching over the weekend, like I was on YouTube and I'm watching a few bits and pieces and stuff, and like I watched some on encouraging younger people into youngsters and classic cars. You know, I've commented on it before. Well, I do comment on it. I've spent a bit of time on it to be quite honest, but I was under the impression that it was making older end a bit negative. That, like, I mean, I know these cars will come to an end. We all know that. Every car comes to an end, and every car comes to an end of its life, no matter whatever it is. I mean, people aren't going to be using them as dailies when they're 100-year-old. Well, they're probably not going to be using them as dailies when they're 60-year-old, 70-year-old. I mean, I do, but I've got a big slot of spares and other bits and pieces, so I'm probably in a position I can do it. And that's where I'm at. But I was under the impression that there weren't really help there for young'uns, and it showed some youngsters. There were, well, I'm saying youngsters. Well, there were young lads. End of story. And they were like at some heritage place, and they were being interviewed. A YouTuber, a lady, and she was panicking, or she was going to get. I think she was close to 40 or something. She thought she was getting old, like, but it comes to us all, I suppose. But that's another thing. But they were in there, and like garages, they were a bit like, well, they were nice, clean, tidy places, ramps and all usual. Well, classics didn't tell us about that. I mean, I've been messing with these things from like, well, before I was 11-year-old. I mean, I painted stuff at 11-year-old, it was probably before. And I mean, I was fortunate I got a good schooling by a guy, but I ain't got like any qualifications in it, you know. What you've got is me, and that's what I do, and that's the end of the story. I mean, I don't suppose they were saying they'd left college, they'd done this, well, it's obviously their chosen path. I mean, it's a bit different now because they have to go to college after school, don't they? Well, we didn't. That were it. You just did what you did and got a job. I mean, some went to uni, colleges, various bits and pieces with apprenticeships, but I didn't do none of that. But they were interesting, and a few got classics and various bits and pieces, but I got a vibe that a bit of negativity from older end to them, and like regarding industry. I mean, industry, no matter what anybody says, is going to decline because cars are generally declining. That's what I take. I mean, I know they said they hit record figures, but that's probably more around world, I would imagine, than probably in country. People will probably tell me different. I mean, pass a comment if it is different. Let me know. But I'm putting over to you is that, like, I mean, I don't mind young'uns at all. I don't mind them, you know. I mean, Young Retro Club. I mean, I've met them at shows. I mean, a guy called Owen with Wartburg and his mate Ben, I think it was. Yeah, Ben. He had a Travant, and there were some on another stand, and they had a Farina. I think it was a Wolseley. And they were a nice little Scirocco there, Saxo. I think Saxo or somebody. Oh, Georgina, she was something to do with Owen, I think. I don't know if they're an item or whatever. I probably gave him in trouble or her in trouble if they're not, like, but that's just what I remember. But I did a few videos and bits and pieces that probably a few of you have probably seen. But what I'm saying is there's no like biasness to young'uns from this neck of woods anyway. So I mean, if any of you want to contact me, I mean, one thing I was a bit surprised in a comment somewhere I saw somebody had put old fart syndrome. Nah. I don't know what old farts are, but I read it through some comments on stuff I was reading through various bits and pieces and some video regarding like basics changing and that. Nah, I understand that, you know, but I don't suppose too many old ones are saying young clever clogs and stuff, so I don't really think there's any need for all that. I mean, I know I can understand where you're coming from because I was young once. I mean, you know, I mean, your life's different when you're young, you know, you want to like smoke tyres or do a wheelie on your bike and stuff like that. And older end like probably frown a bit on it because I suppose they've survived it all and got through it, you know, they've had a bollock in it too. And so they just don't do it now and just well, you don't, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll smoke tyres up on Lincoln, messing about sometimes, but in a safe environment. But I'm just telling you, you know, I mean, we're all young at heart, I suppose, but anyhow, like I've just said, I just thought it would a bit like, it was not needed because going back to old fart syndrome, right, I mean, I know you, if that's phrased, I think it was something like that, but what you've got to remember is these old guys, right, I mean, I've been there, I bought a t-shirt, started listening to what they're on about now when I was younger, But you always can find that snippet of information that you might need. Now, that snippet of information can come useful one day, because when you're messing with these, I don't care if you've got 50s, 60s, 70s car, 80s, 90s, 2000 I suppose. I mean, to me, I think 2000 is about weird classics that got to be ending at, or retros as such. Surely they're not like, or other. I don't know, 2010 now, they've jumped up by my. I don't know, it's 14, well, I don't think 14-year-old is old, long enough for me. But you need information, you need knowledge, and it's older people who are probably going to give you this. So, you know, listen, I know some of them will drive you mad, like I've just said a second ago, but you can always find that bit of information that'll help. But going back to what I'm going on about, anyway, all your young'uns, I mean, you're more than welcome to come here. I'll get any advice you want, because, I mean, going out buying a car probably could be a minefield, you know, I mean, it might be an absolute pile of crap. I mean, I'm not versed in a lot of newer stuff at all, but I can tell a good car from a bad car. I mean, same with your engines, you're going to have issues with your engines. I mean, that could be difficult nowadays. There's not machine shops like there used to be. There's not engineers all over. A lot of them lads have gone, you know, and can you get the bits for them? Then you start swapping engine out, putting something new on. Then you ended up in, you're like changing identity of car, which is another issue that I've gone on about, that I've now filled forms in, I've done everything, I've took some notes, and there'll be a follow-up video on that. So that's something else out of the way for you, that's coming up. But what I'm saying to you is help. Now if you want help, come here. You know, get in touch with me, comment, whatever. I'll get help, you young'un. I mean, there were a young lad who was telling me at Liverpool, and he couldn't really work on his car because if he left his tools out, went into the lab, his tools disappeared. Now, I mean, that's horrendous. But these are sort of thing I think younger people have got. I mean, when people are probably saying there's negative vibes and older into things, I think these might be it. It might be cost of everything today is phenomenal. You know, people who want to get married. Well, when I was young, you could buy an island for the price of an house. You know, it's pathetic now, but that's what's happening, and that's where the job is. So, if you want to have a classic, have a classic. Have no qualms with young ones having classics, and have no qualms with, like, I'm not saying industry is going to die, I'm saying industry is going to decline, because the people aren't there to sort them out. So, and people, well, they're not going to run round in this old Anglia, end of chat. That's a sentimental value to a guy for his dad's, so that's why that's still living. But the help's always available here. And probably what I'm going to do is probably do a show next year somewhere. I mean, if we probably draw a crowd in, and everybody's welcome. Whether you've got a modern classic, an old classic or whatever. I mean, I still might raise an eyebrow regarding some of the cars that come, but I'm not saying people with cars and having fun is not a bad thing at all in my eyes. It's like a bit of a community, and community should be kept alive, and jobs should be right. So, if you like this video, give us a like. If you want to subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my channel. Same with your young'uns. I know you might think, oh, it's just an old fart, as you call us, or whatever you call us. So, I mean, I don't know what you think, you know, but I mean, I've got a lot of knowledge that I can pass on to you. And if you want to pass a comment, because I'll never turn you away, and you'll be more than welcome here. Even at weekend, you've got a problem, you need a bit of steel falling for a sale or whatever, jacking falling, well, whatever you need. I mean, we do us all the something, so you're more than welcome. There's no like bias from me. So leave it with you. Take care, everybody, and try and keep classics going, because it will help. Thanks a lot.